Hello!
Hello!
It's the Jelly Diary time, and we're here with Dave Gibson, founder of sleepsite.co.uk, and Warren Evans, bed makers expert sleep advisor.
Well done.
And we're chatting all things sleep today.
We are.
Which is very difficult during pregnancy, as you guys probably know. And I'm finding out more as the weeks go by. So, but should we start talking first about things you can do to prepare before you get pregnant to make it easier on you?
It's the best place to start.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of sleep, it's all about getting a habit, getting a healthy habit, and really starting to make night and day separately. So if you think about what happened generations ago, Edison invented a light bulb and it keeps us awake at night. Now what a lot of us do is use technology. So we go into bed and we're expecting to be able to do that and switch off, and we can't. So with regards to sleep, start to generate a lifestyle that fits in to helping you get to sleep easily and comfortably. So for example, with your nightly routine, start to get the lights down dimmer so you start to sort of feel your body edge towards sleep. Have a bath, relax, switch off technology about an hour and a half before you get ready for bed. Getting into a routine, and for pregnancy, start to learn to lie on your left hand side.
Yeah.
So start to change your sleep position easily up front, so you've got enough time to do it.
So why is sleeping on left hand side so important? Because it's something I've heard so much, but I actually hadn't heard that before I got pregnant.
There's lots of little things that it does, but in terms of the main benefits is, one, on your left hand side you're avoiding lying on your big vein called the vena cava that goes back to the heart.
Right.
So your circulation is slightly better if you lie on your left, especially when you've got lots of other things going on.
Yeah.
So for example, your liver's getting bigger, that's pushing into the uterus, and the uterus is getting bigger, which is pushing into the liver. So you've got a lot of pressure on the right hand side here. By releasing the vena cava, you're getting more blood going back into the heart, more blood coming away, and it supplies a better rate of oxygen into the placenta, your kidneys and the baby.
So it's good to test that out before.
Start getting into that, and also with regards to back and back pain, lying on your side with a pillow between your legs tends to keep your spine level in alignment.
And that's good before you get pregnant to do that.
It's about developing a routine, so that when you get pregnant, you're not trying to change everything in one go.
And it's a shock, big shock.
I mean, sleeping and changing your sleep position takes some doing. It's not something you can do quickly. It takes about 3 months.
So we've been trying in terms of, we moved the room around. You started sleeping on your left about 2 months ago, something like that.
Maybe a little bit more.
Maybe a little bit more. So and you're still getting to grips with sleeping on your left.
Yeah,
and
I'm still waking up
on your right hand side, face to face with me.
Yeah, it's not nice for either of us.
I know, sharing the morning breath.
But my gum shield. It's lovely.
No, it takes
so
it takes a while.
So how long before pregnancy would you say to start changing the routine? Is it as soon as you decide you want to have a baby, you go, right, let's start changing our routine? Or is it, I don't know, is it just before?
I tend to, as an osteopath, I tend to only try and talk people out of doing one particular sleep position, which is to lie face down, because later in your life it's going to hurt your neck.
That's my favourite position.
Yeah, same. Both of us are face down sleepers, aren't we?
I would always start to try and talk somebody out of it. Yeah, but in terms of lying on your back versus lying on your side, I mean, there's very different reasons for doing both. So for example, if I'm lying on my back, it's gonna cause me to snore more.
Yeah.
If I'm lying on my side, it's gonna press my face into the pillow. So if I don't want wrinkles in my face.
Yeah. So there's pros and cons for every position.
My preferred position is definitely lying on your side.
Yeah.
It protects the back, particularly when you get the mattress and the pillow right, and putting a pillow between your knees to stop yourself rolling.
Yeah, as I say, so is it good to put a pillow in behind your back to stop you from rolling back over, so you're stuck on that one side?
If you tend to roll backwards, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm finding. How do I try and stay in one position, encourage myself just to stay still? Because I'm always like, on the side, that side, and it's quite difficult when you've got a bump to like crawl over and get into a different position. But it'd be nice to be able to encourage myself to stay in one position, stay still, and be relaxed about that.
Well, perhaps we can show with different props later about how you do that. But particularly, you're looking at how you prop yourself up. A pillow underneath the bump this side, pillow behind, pillow between the knees, and getting a pillow that gets you to have your spine in alignment. So get your man here to take a selfie of you,
Yeah.
so that you can see whether you're straight. And at that point,
Oh,
you've
that's a
got
good
yourself
idea.
propped up.
That's where I can come in and help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than tucking you in, shoving the pillows in and around you, making sure you're
Yeah.
nice and comfy.
Well, we've got lots
Give
of
you
different
water.
pillows we've been trying, haven't we? But
Yeah, we've
I'm like Princess and the Princess and the pillows. They're all just.
yeah. So what's your opinion in terms of pregnancy pillows though? The ones you've got, which are a big round, like a big U shape, you sort of hug at night.
Depends on the individual.
Yeah.
You just keep trying it until you get something that's comfortable. But I'd always encourage you to start with what you got.
Yeah.
Save your money.
Yeah,
Get
We
a small.
found the ones we've had, like the pillows we usually sling on the top of the bed to make it look nice, are the ones I've been using.
I mean,
Weirdly.
you need a small pillow underneath your head. You need a small pillow underneath your bump.
Yeah.
And you need a pillow between your knees, and then you take a selfie and make sure that they're all straight.
Because you've not used the in between the knees one, have you?
I put one down there, and it starts off down there, and then it ends up somewhere over you.
Yes.
You must be a restless sleeper.
Yeah,
I
between
think
my
I
legs.
am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or out the bed, and I'm like, where's that pillow gone in the night time?
So it's interesting you're saying you turn the lights down leading up to night time. So we've got dimmers, so maybe we should be say dimming down
in the dark.
cooking the dark. Yeah.
Well, if you wind us back to being a prehistoric species, at night the sun would go down, and the absence of light stimulates the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that induces us to go to sleep. Also, as the light goes down, we naturally get slightly colder, which is another trigger to go to sleep.
Okay.
So you've got two triggers at night. A lot of us will go on technology that emits something called blue light, which pretends the brain will go, hang on a minute, it's morning, and will start to switch off melatonin, because that's what happens when it's morning. We switch off melatonin, we get cortisol going. That wakes us up.
Yeah.
You go on technology late at night, particularly if you haven't put a dimmer on it. You know, some of the phones now have dimming switches.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that, or if you don't have something called iFlux, which dims computer screens, you're stimulating your brain to wake up, and at that point it makes it a lot harder to get to sleep. My advice to everybody before pregnancy is to learn to take technology out of your room, and even afterwards, because technology in the room is the wrong signal to the brain. Your bedroom's for sleep and sex only. It's not for doing work. It's not for even using your phone as an alarm. A lot of people will use it as an alarm and then start
That's what I do.
checking all your emails.
That's exactly me.
Not a great way to wake up.
I mean, like Twitter feeds, Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah, you have a
routinely before I go to bed.
It's a routine, isn't it? And then you're like, checked all that, right, done.
But also, one of my bugbears in life now is, particularly with a teenage daughter, is to try and encourage technology to be having boundaries around it. So you use it when you use it and you put it away when you don't. And certainly there's a culture now where teenagers are on phones late at night. Their younger children are coming into that. So I'd encourage anybody to really be wary about how you use technology, both for yourself as role modelling it and giving it to young babies and young children to play with. You're setting yourself up a bit of a time bomb.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, should we go upstairs and see what I've been doing?
We will indeed.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're in my bedroom, and I'm just going to go through how I would normally sleep during pregnancy, and we're going to see how to improve that and correct it to hopefully get a better night's sleep. So I'd normally be under the covers, obviously. This is a little cushion that is usually I've used for decoration, but I found it really helpful, rightly or wrongly. So this is probably how I would go to sleep, propping it a little bit under the bump, and then I've got a second one of these, which sometimes I'll put there, but I just feel like I haven't really needed that bit at the moment. So that's pretty much what I would do. And then if I turn over, I'd be like, carry them over and then do that. And but then I do that quite a lot in the night, so they end up like on the floor. And then I'm waking and wondering where they are and disturbing Jamie turning on the phone to try and find them. So that's pretty much what I've been doing.
So we've given the challenge of all the accessories that we have in the bedroom to try and get Ellie
Which is loads.
into the most ideal position to sleep while pregnant.
Yeah, because I think pregnancy pillows are something that you feel like you should have, and I've gone through, well, I bought 3 and I found them all really uncomfortable. So, yeah, do you want to show me how it should be done?
Firstly, yeah, you would have your boots on, but you would.
No.
You'd start off with getting the head right. So if you lie down on your left hand side, and what we're looking for, and you can take a selfie of this later, is to try and get your head into alignment with the rest of your spine. So here, you probably, how would you sleep? Would you sleep like that or a bit more over?
Maybe a bit more over.
So that pillow just about there, maybe a bit higher in terms of just sort of to there.
Yeah.
But you are roughly in alignment there. Getting something under the bump, so I would always start off with something small.
So towel, that's great. You don't even need to invest in any fancy.
I'd use a towel or a small pillow.
Yeah.
Again, checking to see how you're lining up.
And that's just to slip under the bump to just support it, so it doesn't feel like it's pulling.
Absolutely. Now I'm looking at your pelvis, trying to get your pelvis to be in line with your back. And you probably need to come that way. Sorry, if I just do that, you probably need to be there a little bit.
Yeah.
Rather than there, which will start to drag you over.
Yeah.
So again, I'm looking to put something as small as I can in the gap. And you can either do it here, or you can do it between. But you're trying to,
bigger gap.
You're trying to get this to line up so that the whole of your spine is level. If you're somebody that tends to lie on your front more, and you're tending to roll over, you prop this up a little bit more. And if, like yourself, you say that you roll over in night,
Yeah.
I'd be trying to block you from doing that slightly there. This will change a little bit as you're getting more and more towards the 3rd trimester. You'll start to find that you might need to prop this up a little bit more.
Yeah.
You might try and find that your bump's getting a little bit bigger, so you're trying to prop that up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But generally you're trying to get your spine to be as level as you can. You're trying to get your pelvis into neutral. And you're trying to stop yourself rolling too far one way or the other. And the pillow tends to be this, a small pillow tends to be better than the ones that we normally use. Most of us tend to get the habit of using too many pillows as a child.
Yeah.
And prop our head into an angle.
Yeah, I've always had one and always duck like feather. Is that better than the foam or just preference really?
Preference, but I prefer a smaller, thinner pillow than a bigger one. You were also saying that you are getting problems with your left neck and a headache.
Yeah, like even today I've got like a headache that's sort of over my left eye.
It sort of implies that you've got something going on with your muscles and the right on the top left hand joint here.
Right.
So it might be that you're coming too far over, that you might need slightly more support than you've got there, sort of a little bit higher.
Okay.
So again, putting a towel underneath it.
Yeah.
The main thing is to get yourself to be as flat as you can and to stop yourself rolling.
Yeah.
Also, if you find that later on that you, as you're lying on your side, particularly if you're not used to lying on your side, you start to get pressure pain on your hip, you can put padding underneath it with just a small topper, something that's sort of foamy again.
Yeah. So this position is to basically, it means that the baby's getting all the oxygen and what have you, and it minimises any ailments and other aches and pains you might develop if you're on your back and you're hurting that vena.
Well, there's three things that are happening in this position. One is that your blood supply to your heart's coming up on the right.
Right.
So that's been kept open.
Yeah.
You've got your liver on the right, so the uterus and the liver aren't getting squeezed together.
Yeah.
The other thing is because you're not on your back, when we're on our back we tend to snore more.
Right.
And particularly GERD, reflux, tends to happen more when you're on your back than your front.
Okay.
And tends to happen more on your back than when you're on your side. When you get to the 3rd trimester, if you are finding that you've got a lot of reflux, in the end, possibly the only position you will be comfortable sleeping up is almost propped up in a chair.
Really?
So some women do find right at the end of the 3rd trimester, reflux is such an issue, and it's so uncomfortable even to lie like that, because reflux is when you get the stomach's getting pushed up, the esophagus is coming up,
Yeah.
the diaphragm's being pushed up by the uterus.
Yeah.
So when everything's lifted up, the stomach and the reflux for the acid is more prone to come into the throat.
Yeah.
Also the ligaments and the muscles around the top of the stomach, at the bottom of the esophagus, start to loosen up more with the relaxing, so you're more prone to reflux later on as well.
Yeah.
The best way of getting around that, if you're finding that's the problem that's keeping you awake, is actually to sit propped up.
Okay, and then you would do that, like
You'd
on
have
your,
tons
on
of
your
pillows
back, wouldn't
behind
you?
us. You'd have
So
tons
that's
of
when
pillows.
these would all come in handy.
Yeah, you'd have as many as you can get behind
And
you.
maybe Reggie. Yeah. So wow, do people actually sleep like
They try
that?
There is issues in terms of how the oxygen is circulating here, but in terms of reflux,
Yeah.
that will reduce the amount of reflux you get.
That's how I sit on the sofa like this.
Yeah.
What about your neck? Because imagine sleeping like that upright is going to have real issues with your neck.
You just prop it up. You just make sure you got all the pillows here. So
Use one of those flight things.
you'd have a support in here. So your love heart comes in here. So you
Those hearts are brilliant. Yeah, that's very comfy, but I don't know if I could sleep like that.
You might end up like that in a
Oh,
few months'
God.
time, particularly if you've got reflux. And we were talking that you suffer from hypermobility.
Yeah.
So people with hypermobility tend to get more reflux.
So this is a position we need to remember then.
Yeah.
Mm.
On a
Yeah.
sofa downstairs, equally, if you're snoring later on and you're keeping your man awake.
Yeah, that'll be me then.
30% of women snore.
Yeah, I thought it would have
When
thought it'd
they're
be
pregnant.
more than that actually.
Well, what happens is the progesterone, when you get progesterone, it's a muscle inhibitor.
Yeah.
And as you're putting on weight and the soft linings of the throat and the nose get nasal congestion, so women do tend to snore more in pregnancy.
One thing I had the other day was a really, really bad nosebleed. If that happens at night, I suppose you just take yourself away, sort it out, come back to bed. But is there any position that would be better to come back to if you're having a nosebleed in the night? Just keep, like,
Lie
maybe
back.
more like this, where you're sat up.
Snoring actually is a big issue. I'd forgotten to mention that as we come along. Snoring can be associated with something called sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And sleep apnea is associated with when we stop breathing during night and it wakes us up. Snoring can be a warning sign for sleep apnea. So snoring is something to be careful of,
Yeah.
particularly if you get swollen ankles with it. And that can be a sign that you've got something called preeclampsia. So if you snore and you're snoring pregnant and you don't tend to snore, if you're getting dizzy or headaches, go down, get your blood pressure checked and get your urine checked. Because it certainly
Don't
is
take the risks.
a warning sign for things that can get a little bit more complicated. And sleep apnea is something you need to be very, very careful around.
Also, we were told at the last scan we had is not to do this, because that gives you varicose veins, and I'm always doing that. But I haven't had any so far. So
The other thing with sleep is restorative for the body, and there is associations with, if you get too little sleep, is association with a higher incidence of C-sections and
that's
complicated
really
labour.
interesting.
And you're doing it
Yeah,
again.
I know. It's just like I get interested and I'm like, wow. So it's good to get into a routine, as you say, before pregnancy. Try these things out. Get prepared.
I would do three things. Look at your habits before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Get rid of technology. Get it out of the bedroom for yourself and your little one when it comes along. I'd learn to meditate.
Yeah.
60% of us struggle to get to sleep because of stress. Learning to meditate helps you not just get to sleep, but during your pregnancy, when you're getting all those dreams, it'll calm you down, and during the labour, it's great for that. And also with regards to get to sleep on your left early. As you found, it's very hard to change a sleep habit. It takes about 3 months for the body to adjust to a new habit.
And if you're uncomfortable while you're trying to learn something new, it's not going to be the best way of doing it, is it?
Absolutely.
So it's best to do it when you're comfortable and you're not pregnant and you can train yourself. Yeah.
Because there's enough things that are going to come up when you are pregnant. Things like morning sickness, things like restless legs.
Cramp as well in the bed is another thing.
Yep.
I seem to wake up on my back and I'm stretching my legs like this in the night for some reason. I keep doing it. And then that's when I get cramped down this leg mostly.
Don't you get a massage before you get into bed?
No.
Come on! That is a great way of stretching the calves out.
You could do that.
I could do that.
You
Yeah.
can do that yourself by stretching out like
Yeah.
that. But your man ideally will be massaging your calves here.
Ideally.
Also
Yeah.
exercise.
Yes.
Exercise is
doing.
good to keep your circulation going, it's good for
Yeah.
your health, and it's actually good for sleep. Exercise
helps
and
you
sleep
sleep
go
better.
together. So if your health provider hasn't told you to stop exercising, half an hour a day,
Yeah.
even if it's walking.
Yeah. The other thing is getting out of bed, because the constant loo trips, and when you've got a bigger bump, it's harder to pull yourself up.
Yeah.
So I've been using the wall, like doing all sorts of funny manoeuvres. But is there any better way to get out of bed? Because we're talking about abdominal separation.
Yeah.
And just pulling yourself up isn't good, is it? So is it better to
With
roll off?
abdominal separation later on during pregnancy, you have a hormone called relaxin that's designed to allow your pubic bone to separate.
Right.
The worst thing for abdominal separation is to get outside of a car one-legged. So always spin your legs with your knees together.
Yeah.
So you're trying a similar thing here.
Because usually I probably would do that.
That's what you wouldn't do.
So this is more
Absolutely.
what you should do.
Yeah.
And then fall off and bang my head.
Well, no, you get yourself to be back. The other thing about when you're getting out of bed, if you do that for me now.
Yeah.
Right. So now you get yourself to prop yourself up. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're up. Get yourself to be sitting.
Okay.
Now the thing when you're sitting is, most of us will get out of bed like that. Now if you've got backache, that's going to make your backache worse. So what you've got to do is pretend that you're in a lift. You've got to fix your eyes on a point. You've got to push up, so you're pushing up through your quads. So you literally push yourself up,
Okay.
rather than step yourself out.
So
So get your feet on the floor, keep your head up and push yourself up.
So like that.
Just about.
That's much more dignified than all sorts of things I've been doing in
But
the
try and
night.
avoid coming out. Come up. Imagine that you're going to go straight up. So you're pushing yourself up and you're using your big quads
Yeah.
and your big glute
Back
heels.
straight.
So you're not using your back muscles. You keep your back
Using
straight
Your thighs.
and keep your knees together so you're pushing up.
Yeah. So you roll over, knees together,
Yeah. Like
onto the
that.
floor,
Keep
straight
your
as
head
you
up
can,
and push up.
and then up.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I'll give that a go.
The other thing with getting up at night to urinate, try not to switch the bathroom light on because it will wake you
I
up.
never do. I always do everything. You always do, don't you? You're always in the night.
Well, I've got aim, so that's why I have the light on.
Yeah.
So keeping lights off at night because once you
Yeah.
put the light on, it wakes you up.
Mm.
The other thing, obviously, drink lots in the day, and if you're having problems having to get up a lot in the night, try and keep your fluid intake lower at night.
I always get more thirsty towards the end of the day, so I'm in a really bad habit of not drinking enough during the day and then compensating just before bed and then up all night.
Just keep a glass out or a
Yeah.
bottle out of water in front of you, and then you just sort of remind yourself to do it.
Yeah. Great tips. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much
My
for
pleasure.
coming and talking to us about sleeping during pregnancy.
Great.